My name is Sam Adamson. I'm 25 years old and I'm a first year student in NUI Maynooth studying multimedia. The most common, I think, thing that people say to me is, why at 25? I'm in first year, why am I just starting out? The reason for that is something that I've had to confront in recent years. It's been very difficult. In my late teens I was diagnosed with a very rare physical disorder, and that basically, changed the path I wanted to follow really in life, not just in educational life. The condition is called Pausus Randomus Tempus, and basically, to explain it as simply as I can, it basically pauses the sufferer's body at random intervals. Blocks, just like someone's literally pressed the pause button on you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Your mind is still active while my mind is. Very difficult to deal with. I've considered myself lucky through some of the support groups and different meetings I've had with other sufferers in Ireland, and there aren't that many of us. I basically learned that a lot of people have varying degrees of the condition. I can still move my body from the neck up. Perhaps, say I'm waiting in a queue for something, if I sort of froze, if I had an episode, no one's really going to notice, and I can continue a conversation. No one's really going to notice anything like that. But there are other instances. All the talking in the world isn't going to get you out of it. For example, just really simple day-to-day living can be, a massive challenge at times. I think it was 2 or 3 days ago. It was just earlier in the week. I was just getting a cup of tea for myself. I happened to have an episode as I was pouring the boiling water into the cup, and it ended up overflowing. I burned my hand quite badly. So, instances like that kind of make you realise that, living alone can be quite dangerous as well, and it does impede on your sense of independence. In terms of day-to-day living, besides just, dressing yourself can even be an issue. Using the bathroom is a huge issue as well. I won't give specific details, but you can imagine it's something that you don't really want to happen. And also eating food, and especially preparing food, can be very hazardous, because I've kind of been advised by my doctor not to use certain electrical appliances, and I'm not allowed to use ovens or hobs or anything like that, because there's obviously a potential risk there. So I'm limited to using microwaves and toasters and stuff like that. So it even has an impact on your diet. There was an incident only yesterday. I hadn't got much time. It was actually my busiest day, lecture-wise, tutorial-wise, and so on. So I just got some soup for myself. I sat down to eat it, and timing. Had another episode, unfortunately, and an added embarrassment to me really was the fact that I froze, and I couldn't eat what I'd managed to prepare for myself, and that was a goal. My condition has a detrimental effect on my social life as well. I've been lucky in college so far that nothing too major has sort of happened. The only incident that really sort of happened was a relatively minor one, I suppose. It could have been a lot worse. I was on my way to a lecture and I got a phone call, and I put my hand into my pocket to obviously answer the phone, and I happened to litter the pad with change. Annoying at the best of times, but I bent down to pick up the change, as you do, and I had an episode, and I was basically stuck, like a fool, trying to pick up this money. They must have been first years, fresh out of school, just immature, just found it very funny and made me the victim of their jokes, and just made no attempt to understand or to try to help, and that's kind of a big issue for me. That's what I've got a problem with. And they ended up just trying to make a mockery out of me, and then stole my change and took off. It's kind of something you have to live with. I'd say the most, not many incidents of much severity have occurred during my time in NUI Maynooth. There was one that kind of could have been a lot nastier than it was. I was just crossing the road and I froze, as you do, and basically the driver was very impatient and didn't actually ask me, are you okay? Is something the matter with you? And he was beeping at me and stuff, and then he actually had the gall to accelerate, and I actually ended up on the bonnet of his car. I must have travelled about 10 metres before he hit the brakes, and I fell off onto the road, and it was utterly humiliating, and I never want to go through that again. And it's just such an awful state of affairs that this kind of thing goes on, and that you're a victim of it opens your eyes quite a lot. There are, of course, people everywhere that are more open-minded and willing to accept that there are people that are different to themselves, and who are willing to put that effort in to try to accommodate them. Sadly, as is the case here and pretty much anywhere you go, that these people always form the minority. But in my course there are a few very nice people, and we get on quite well. They're aware of my condition and they've accepted it, so it's great. It puts you at ease as well. We play a bit of sport as well. I'm not exactly going to be a sporting legend. I've pretty much accepted that fact at this stage. But I do like playing football, and I'm not exactly a playmaker, but I'm usually I usually have to play in goals, and it's okay. It's not. I think once my adrenaline levels are kind of higher, I seem to less susceptible to the condition. You have to be if you're not at peace with yourself, you're not really going to get along in life. So that's one thing you have to kind of establish with yourself early on. My hopes regarding my condition and my life immediately in university in Maynooth is that basically I just want to be treated like anyone else, be given the same opportunities and chances as anybody else has. It's a 3-year degree, and my goal is to achieve, to finish the degree in the 3 years. But if that's not possible due to my condition, if it takes me 5 years or 10 years, I'm determined enough to battle through it and work through it and get the same result as everybody else in the end, basically. Reflecting on my experience so far, and I suppose in general, just in college, it's nice to know that there are people who accept you for who you are, and acknowledge the fact that you are perhaps a little different, but go to certain lengths to cater for that, to accept you. We'd all get along a lot better. It'd be a much nicer place to live, and it's those little glimpses of optimism that you kind of have to work within, and you have to, that's your motivation right there, basically. And I just hope that that films like this and they just create enough awareness and just will do their job of trying to open people's minds a little bit. That's all I can hope for, but it is difficult, it's very difficult.